Morning, welcome to the video. November, I had to think then, November the 3rd. And again, I say every time, wow, how have we got here? But how have we got here? So this week, I always think whatever sort of the Americas that say, we tend to get the tail end of. So obviously you've probably read about or seen the devastation, really, I suppose, of it in Jamaica. I always think we sort of get that kind of tail end of it. So this week, very, very sort of on and off rain, I think for the whole week. So I don't think we've got a day which is obviously outrageously wet and we're not going to be able to work or anything, but I do think we're going to be getting showers on and off for the whole time. So for me, it's just going to be plough on as normal, and then if there's going to be a couple of times when I have to take a break because it's raining too hard, then so be it. But just running out of days, can't really have any more disruption. So first week of November is always sort of ends up being the same, and that is for all the lawn care jobs that have been booked in. And for example, the other week when it was torrential rain, I just couldn't do the jobs I wanted to do. That's been rearranged to this week, and that tends to be what it is we start off in September, where we get all the renovations done, so all the work that needs seeding, and you really want to scalp those lawns right down and scarify and get all the crap out. We'll look to do that in September, excuse me, and then that will then go from that into just kind of a scarify and then a feed, and then that will then turn into sort of the jobs which are just sort of aeration jobs and a feed as well, and then into just kind of feed jobs. That's theory, because obviously you're assuming that from September through to October it's going to get a bit wetter, so you want to be doing the real sort of scalp downs and scarifying and stuff. Heavy scarifying, you want to do that in the drier weather. Aeration you can get away with. It's better for the ground to be a little bit damper actually when you're trying to aerate, because the aerator can't necessarily get into the ground if it's too hard. So that's kind of what I try and aim for. And in the diary, what I'll do is I'll have everything sewn up for the end of October. Now, you're going to get new ones come in, and then I'll explain that actually, we've probably missed the boat for seeding, but there's stuff we can do, whether it be aeration or just a feed or something, just to try and, from that stage, you're looking at preparing your lawn for next year now. So we can start the ball rolling, but we can't necessarily do the full renovation that they're looking to do. So November really becomes a combination of picking off those jobs that have come in last minute, as well as leaves. And we've got 2 fortnightly cuts left, or 2 fortnightly visits, which will put certainly the fortnightly visit next week is going to be just leaves, and that'll be the kind of the big one for leaves. And then from the next 2 visits, the second one in November and the one and only in December just before Christmas, they'll kind of just be like getting the rest of it, and one of those hopefully I'll be able to cut, because the grass is still growing, but ultimately get some stripes down, make everything look nice. As I say, this week it's going to be lawn care today, and then one job I went to a couple of weeks ago where I did some lawn care. It's a new client, so I'm going in now just to give it another cut, clear some leaves and stuff like that. And then Tuesday's a new client. It's a big lawn, and I try to explain to them they don't need to be wasting their time cutting all that grass on a weekly basis. So we're going to come up with a plan as to what would be formal cut, what would be every now and again cut, and what would be sort of once or twice a year cut. Obviously the front lawns will be formal, so I'll show you more when we're walking around that tomorrow. Wednesday is a rescheduled day, Thursday, Friday usual. So that's kind of the week, and with the weather it will really depend on the weather, I suppose. At the minute it's sort of tried to rain a little bit. I mean, just since I've been here there's been the odd spits of rain and stuff like that, but that cloud, as you can see, is moving relatively quickly. So if we do get any showers, I think it will pass through pretty quickly, hopefully. We are at the first property now. This is a new client for this year. It should have been a client for last year, and I'll explain why in a minute. I'm sure I have done already, but it's one of those horrible ones. It's just a bit of a faff. Van, steps. So we've got to use the ramps to get up the steps. Then we've got two options. One is down those steps. A little step here. Also not worried about that one. Or these steps here. So fortunately, I think I've done it before with the Scarifier, so I know it's due. So I quoted this probably 2 weeks ago last year, if that makes sense. And I was quoting essentially to do an aeration. That's what they wanted. And I got here, and there was just the shed and the remains of the shed and everything in it all over the lawn. And I was like, what's going on here? And they said, oh, we're building one of these things. And I was like, well, okay, you're not going to want me in, I need access to the lawn. I'll tell you what I'll do, I'll quote the job, but then let me know when they've finished, because I kind of need access to the lawn, and then when I have fed the lawn, the guys can't be then creating sawdust and sweeping it up and sweeping the fertiliser up and everything else. So she said, yep, fine, no worries. And then she contacted me and said, actually, they're going to do a few more jobs, so can we just sort it out in the new year? So I was like, yeah, no worries. The lawn was in a really, really bad state. So scarified in the springtime, did an iron treatment, scarified in the springtime, and then it was seeded. I seeded it, I think, and then the gardeners top dressed. And they used the top dressing, which wasn't very good. But anyway, it is a million times better than what it was. I'll try and find a photo and include it if I can of quite what a state it was in. I mean, I'm not saying it's perfect, but it's a million times better. It literally was just moss and weeds. So now there's not really any weeds in it of note. There is some moss in there still, but we've got to leave them with something green, right? So we're winning the battle, definitely. And as I say, it hasn't had a full year yet. That one was all done, so I didn't actually film the end of it. It's a funny lawn, that one. There's always a cock-up, constantly. So, as I said earlier, when I first went there and they wanted lawn care, the gardener who'd sort of recommended me to them, I spoke to the gardener about it. I said, oh, do they like their lawn care and they look after their lawn, meaning do they just cut it regularly? Because I was going through a period where I was getting all these clients who wanted fertilising but didn't want to mow their lawn and didn't want me to do it. You'd go in there and the lawn would be 6 inches high, and then you'd fertilise it, and then they'd hack it down and of course stress the absolute crap out of it, and the lawns were always awful. And you get to this bit where it's like, well, I don't really want to work on these lawns. I don't really want people to think that these are my standard lawns, but I've told them and explained to them the best way to keep their lawn, and that I can only do the feeding side of it unless they want me to take on the mowing maintenance. And what they're doing is actually the worst thing you could do by letting your grass grow really long and then scalping it right down every time you mow it, because you believe that the grass, it'll be longer before you next need to cut it. And it's like, well, if that's the case, you really don't need me to fertilise it. But then there's that thing of, actually, I need to make money, so I can't just keep telling everybody you don't need fertiliser. So anyway, there's always a cock-up whenever I go there. For instance, when I did the quote, and the fence, the shed, and it's contained, everything in it was all spread across the lawn. And then when I went back before, oh, that was it. Then she said, look, in the springtime, we'll leave it till the springtime. And I said, fine, I'll be starting my rounds in the 1st of February, so I'll contact you then. So then I contacted her on the 1st of February, and she went, oh, sorry, I didn't realise you still wanted to do it. I was like, well, we agreed that I'd contact you on the 1st of February. It is the 1st of February, so I don't quite know what else I could have done. And she's like, oh, I've got the gardeners to do it. So okay, no worries. It seemed like a bit of a nightmare anyway, so I left it at that. Just scrubbed off the list, and she immediately called me back and said, right, I've told the gardeners you're doing it now, but they say they've already ordered the soil for the top dressing. Oh my days. So basically I scarified it, fed it, and put the seed down, and then they used their awful soil that they'd got from somewhere to top dress it. And then that was it. Then I went in to spray the weeds at some point, and the husband had shut one of the dogs out in the garden and left the dog in there. So I was just like, well, I can't spray with this dog trying to yap at me, like literally trying to like nibble me ankles. So I'm gonna have to come back another time. I mean, the thing is, it's quite a good job and it's quite convenient, and the money's pretty good. So they're the pros. The cons are there's always something happening, and the con today was that as soon as I pretty much finished, I was just about to feed the lawn, a van rocked up and 3 gardeners got out, and they all had a leaf blower each, and they were expecting to blow all the leaves. Only I'd gone over the lawn twice with the billy goat blower, so there weren't any leaves for them to blow, other than getting all the leaves and everything out of the beds. And of course, what do you do when you blow leaves out to the bed? You blow it onto a lawn that's just been fertilised. So anyway, not my problem. This had been, I think I booked this one in about 3 weeks ago. So it's been maybe longer actually. So it's yeah, it's been there a while to, and at the end of the day, the client's got to, if you've got multiple people coming in, you have to kind of project manage it a little bit. So anyway, I've left them to do it by hand because I'm not getting involved in it. Anyways, on to the next one now. So I've just dropped back to the container. I don't need the aerator for the rest of the day. Need to pick up the Time Master, and I might as well chuck the, just because of logistics, I might as well chuck the 56 on board now, because I'll need that. I'll need the 56 tomorrow, might need the billy goat, and I certainly need the tractor. So if I get that in, it might just make it work a little bit easier. Right, I'm on another job, the second job of the day. It's a client, or it's a new client. I was here about 3 weeks ago, I think. This is the lawn. So it's grown like there's no tomorrow, really. So this lawn, this side has been double cut, and it was long. So I've double cut it, and then this side over here has had 1 cut. So I'm now just going to drop it down to match that height, but I've probably took two full bags of grass off, and also there was loads of leaves down, so all the leaves have kind of been blown into the woods. And this is the one with the big old field, paddock, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, I'm hoping that we might be able to cut here. I have mentioned to the client about, particularly that middle bit section there is actually very wet. So sort of just leaving that, and maybe having some wild areas and maybe some wildflower, and then just cutting some sort of obvious bits, and then cutting some paths through it, just to try and reduce the maintenance, which I think, you know, would make a feature of this field. Otherwise it's just a field that he has to hack down every now and again, and you're not really doing anything with it. At least, you know, you could kind of go for a bit of a walk around the field without actually leaving your property, and it's not just walking across the field and back again. Good morning, new property. The plan for today is just to get all the grass cut, and then try and get some of these leaves tidied up in preparation for taking this on as a regular one for next year. So we've got so we'll cut all this down, stripe this all up nice, edge it, get some of the leaves out. Not so hot on the weeds right now, and then see what we can do here. Try and get all this edging like there, try and tidy all that long stuff up around here, get the edging done. We'll leave the boards, and then try and get this grass cut down and round, get those leaves out off the step, and yeah, just give it kind of a rough tidy up, really. Get those leaves out from under around here. Crazy amounts of grass seed And it is grass seed, I would say, and in some of it's weeds, but some of it I'd assume is where they've grassed, where they've seeded these lawns, and it's all come across, and weeds and stuff. It is every now and again crazy windy, so I won't be spraying these today, which is annoying because it's not raining currently, which there was a suggestion it might. So that's annoying because, of course, any drift, and this is going to kill, you know, it's going to kill the lawn. I can't use a selective because there's so much grass in there, and what kills grass on a drive kills grass on a lawn. So yeah, what I'm going to do is because it's so long at the moment, I've just gone around doing all the edging and all the little bits out the front, tried to blow some leaves as best I can around the house and stuff, but the wind's just sending it everywhere. The wind round is sort of creating alleyways between the buildings, and the wind's just blowing it left, right and centre. So what I'm going to do is take the Cub Cadet over these lawns first, certainly this one, and a bit of that one there, and the reason being just to try and get some height out of it, and then we'll go over with the hater just to stripe it up and then remove some of the grass. So all striped up, setting number 5 on the hater, double cut. I want to get it down, but I want it to be green and striped up and nice, so that's kind of where we've gone there. Hopefully we'll get another cut in. That tree is very, very dead to me, so I've sent some photos to a tree surgeon friend of mine who's local, and I'll mention it to the client. But basically you have a main road just the other side of that fence there, so if that tree comes down the wrong way, you could have trouble. So that's all done with the small lawn now, sorry, the small mower now, all striped up. So the leaves that I've got off the drive I've put here, so essentially all we're going to do is just go round the edge, not worry too much about that, get it blown out. There's some guys doing some work, so I don't know what I can blow on here, try and get all this out. As I say, trim around the patio, blow it all out, and then we'll mow this up somehow. There's a few manholes, so we'll trim around them just so they are visible to us, so we don't smash into them, although they're only plastic, so therefore could actually probably end up damaging them more. Bit more strimming here. As you can see, they've obviously just mown straight up to the edge and just progressively got further away from it, so we'll edge all this down. I think it's been cut recently, but it still needs a whole cut. I'm just going to side discharge it, to be honest. Just wondering whether I'll have time to put some kind of stripe in just for a bit of fancy effect. Don't know. If not, I'll just go in ever decreasing circles. 3 o'clock now. I've been here since just before 9, I think. So it's taken quite a while to get everything done, but back. So I've managed to get a little stripe on there. I mean, I was cutting it on setting 4, and even then I was taking quite a bit off. But that just shows you how high it was. I think the clients had tried to cut it down on a bit of a wet day, so there's lots of clumps all over the place. So yeah, anyways, we've got through there. I mean, whether I come back in another day and trim this, so basically it's a pond which sits dry during the summer and then slowly fills up. You can see it's a little bit wet here and there during the winter. So you can kind of see how close I dared get, but without really being able to see the edge properly. I didn't want to risk it too much, but it seems as though there's some sort of like concrete collar in here. So, but as I say, I didn't want to risk it. Although I suppose actually there's water in there, right there. But I suppose if you are going in when it's dry. Anyways, yeah, there you go. You can see the stripes, kinda. So yeah, so this is the plan. There is a scope now to basically put in, I don't know what you'd call it, a bit like a ha-ha wall fence type thing. So essentially level it off, level the lawn. Where am I pointing? Down here. Oh wow, pointing from there sort of out to here. Enough, basically, the client said she'd like the possibility to put a marquee outside the house without going down a hill. So basically putting a wall in so it comes straight off the patio and level, and then keeping that as a nice formal lawn, and then the rest will just kind of be rough grass that gets cut down kind of as and when. That's the plan. That's a long way off. There is actually a property just down the road, and I've worked next door, and they've done exactly that. I mean, their back garden must be 4 times the size of this. So they basically have this perfect kind of semicircle lawn, which is raised slightly by a couple of bricks just to keep it level, and then the rest is just, I don't even know how they cut it. That's a massive area. So probably needs a big old tractor, like as if probably needs a big old tractor, like if you were cutting a local park or something like that, I suppose. But yeah, right, I'm just gonna, I don't know if you can see it actually, I should have probably shown you. There is like a statue in 4 columns. You can see this has really sort of stood out as the day's gone on. The stripes have really stood out. There you go, you can see there's a statue down there with 4 columns. What I did was I did mow round there. I mean, it's really flail territory really, but I just put the mower on its highest settings, and I've kind of gone in and around it. But where I've actually managed to cut quite a bit, it now looks a bit rough with the kind of column posts having long grass up and around. So I'm just going to take the strimmer and the little handheld blower just to finish that bit off, and then I'm pretty much done here. Although obviously I've got the trailer on, I've got the mower on, and I can't reverse the trailer in the vat into the container because there's just not enough room to kind of get my angles with the doors because of the way they open and stuff. So I do have to get there, then I have to take the tractor off the trailer, and then I have to take the trailer off, push the trailer in, and then put a it hasn't got a stand at the back. So what I do is I just have a spare jack that I just carry with the trailer, and what I do is I put that underneath, and then that means what I can do is put this in the trailer, I can put the trailer in the container and then drive the tractor up onto it without it flipping up as I sort of go up and over. So it's a bit of a faff, but that's kind of the problem with the containers, is that you can get as long as you want, but the widths are pretty samey, and a wider trailer in there is, I don't even know if it would fit, to be honest, because although I move most of the stuff, I can't move it all, and I've kind of got to get round it to get other stuff out. But you make the best of what you've got, I guess. Morning, Wednesday. So this is a rescheduled job from a couple of weeks ago. I say jobs, the whole road. Well, I say the whole road, we've got a few in this road. Anyways, I've been looking after this one for a couple of years now, and I'm really pleased with it. So this is the front. He's now had it landscaped properly. What it used to be was just kind of grass which sort of ran into the driveway, and the gravel never really stopped and things like that. I think I said last time I was here we could do with filling this bit in here, but you can see it's been cut recently because the stripes are still in there just. So here's someone who's cutting their lawn regularly. Now, I mean, the amount of leaves I saw just falling on my way here, you can see why the lawn is what it is, but I'm really pleased. There's such great coverage of grass everywhere. So when I first took over, or first came in, they first moved in, these trees were, I mean, they probably came right down to the ground. There was a massive hedge all the way along there, and I think it went along there, and the lawn, there was no grass around there anywhere. And I think we seeded it twice. One to just try and get some grass in there, and then secondly we did it once all the trees had come down and things like that, and it's really took shape. So I'm so pleased with this. So what we're going to do is get the dew off, and by doing that we are going to remove some of the leaves and things. Then we're just going to simply aerate, hollow core aeration, and give it a feed, and that's what we're going to be doing for the other ones in this street as well. So nice easy day. The house we'll do last, we will, they've asked me to really sort of concentrate on the leaves while I'm there as well. I was explaining to a friend of mine this morning that actually the last house we do, that is lawn guy client number 8, and our current longest serving client since I think October 2014, I think it was. So yeah, known them for a long time. Okay, on to the second lawn now. Beautiful garden, is it? I love the colour here. So yeah, grass is a bit long for my liking, definitely in need of feed, but so we're just punching some holes and we're going to give it that feed. It's a big old plot with lots of little hidden nooks and crannies and what have you, but the lawn is actually quite small. So yeah, looks like the rain stayed away as well, which has been fantastic. Okay, so we're on to the third one of the day. So this is going to be an aeration of feed, but they've asked me to do the leaves as well while I'm here. So I'm in a bit of a quandary. I don't want to spend all the time doing the leaves, then it starts raining or something, so then I run out of time to actually do the job I'm here to do. So what I'm thinking, because I need to get the leaves off the lawn anyway, so get these leaves out of here, round here, and then blow what I have done before when I've done the leaves, but I haven't had enough time, is blow everything underneath the tree. Then aerate, then deal with the cores, and then I've got my piles of leaves, pile of leaves that I can then pick up. I think that's what I'm going to do, but it's not that bad actually. But what I do normally do is I blow all the cores into this corner under here as somewhere to put them and somewhere where potentially grass would grow. So actually it's not that bad. But I mean, even if I just put the cores into that hole over there, then that will fill that in. So that would be the best result, I think. Okay, cool, no worries. Live thought processes. I assume there's a Smurf in there somewhere. Usual kind of thing. Gone round with the backpack blower, got everything out so that the billy goat blower can come in and just put everything just in that corner for the minute, just to be bagged. And then we can then take it through to the dumping area, the recycling heap, whatever you want to call it, which is in the front garden, but it's got to be dragged through a gate across gravel, and trying to like herd sheep and get it all through there is going to be a nightmare. So we'll just bag it and drag it through. So yeah, that's pretty good so far. So it's 4:15 now and we're all done. Look, the grass is pretty long actually, so you can't really see the holes in it now. I've sort of disturbed it with the blower, but they're there. There's one, there's another one. So and now it's obviously been fed as well. It's beginning to get dark. I think if it wasn't cloudy it would be lighter, but as I say, what I did at the start was, there was a big dip in there. I don't know if there was a tree root or something, so I've just kind of scattered and spread out the cores in there and trod them in and trod them down, so that just sort of fills in that hole if nothing else. And obviously, you know, quite a few of those cores will have seeds in them, and quite a few of those cores will have grass in there, a whole root system, and so they I mean, whether they do very well in the shade and the lack of sort of wind movement, or the lack of air sort of movement is, I don't know, probably not, but it certainly leveled it out if nothing else, and the cores will sort of break down anyway. So so yeah, I'm pretty pleased with that. And then we've got this section here, these leaves, they're quite light. It's quite a light pile of leaves, if that makes sense. So be interesting. I've got 2 bags, but I can't see that it's going to be more than 4 bags worth once I've washed it, sort of scrunched it all down. Sunset last week was 4:45, so that gives me about half an hour to do this. I'm assuming that sunset will be a little bit quicker this week, but that's obviously sunset, that's not sundown completely, so I better press on. Done. Just in time. So it's about 5 o'clock now. and the area is all clear, as you can sort of see. I'm pretty pleased with it. Hey, Thursday, and rain overnight, rain this morning driving to the first job. Oh, bit slippy these steps, but essentially it's just leaf blowing. Not sure what I'll go do at the next one, because there's not that many leaves. There's those 2 apple trees, but whether it's too wet to cut or not, I'm not sure. So we shall wait and see, but it's very much leaf season now. So there's a lawn under there somewhere. There's still quite a few leaves to come down actually. So didn't show anything on the last lawn. It was all as you'd expect, lush and green and striped. All done, and in pretty good time as well. So you can just about see the sideways, the side to sides in there. I think we'll probably feed this next time I'm here, because it's just beginning to look a bit ropey. Okay, and this is the front sideways, so if I go up and down in the back, I go sideways at the front, just to mix it up a little bit. Friday, and we've sort of been on and off rain, so basically striped up the front and just blew the leaves at the back, just because there was too many leaves by the time I'd blown them all. There were too many leaves for the mower, and by the time I'd blown them all, would have been out of time for anything else. Right, I need to get the mower down the road, then hook up the trailer and get that down the road as well. Okay, so this is the first time I've come in since September, I think, and the lawn, or the garden, certainly out the front, is looking pretty tidy. There's no well, I mean, there's a few leaves in there, but you know, there's no needles down, there's no leaves all over the place. It's all pretty good. So we'll give it a cut, obviously, just to stripe it up nice. But it is actually looking pretty tidy, so that's good. So all that means is I can spend more time on the back, because that is, I can assume that's going to be carnage. Not that bad. Yeah, not that bad. Leaves in the obvious areas, but yeah, obviously the oaks haven't come down, and that one, but they're getting there, and actually potentially they'll all be down by the end of the day. Problem is, when things are going well, you're always one step away from them not going well. So there we go. I have used haters since 2014, and I've never had that belt go before. And actually, normally when belts go, they're pretty bad condition, but that actually looks quite good. So yeah, need a new one of them by Tuesday. Hey, so next week, my Wednesday lawns are actually going to be on a Monday, and you'll find out why. But so this will be a Monday lawn. I showed you that last week and said most of those leaves will be down by now, and well, I'll show you. Actually, I took a photo a week ago when I was here. So what was that, a week and a half ago, and that tree was looking amazing, and yeah, they're pretty much down. So so yes, very much Monday is going to be a leaf clearance day. Actually, I don't know what the other one looks like up the road. So there's 3 in this road on Monday, and then I'm hoping to do 2 others. If you remember, well, it will be 2 weeks ago, or just under, because it's normally on a Wednesday. So a week last Wednesday, I messed up the day, and I didn't think I'd get them all done, but I didn't take into consideration actually how light it was in the morning, and I could have got the first one done had I mean, I'd need to leave the house at 6 in the morning, but it was possible. So on Wednesday I am going to plan to get them all done, and I think it will be the only one where that will happen, and then it will be too dark come 2 weeks later, but so that's the plan. So Monday early start, and it will be a big old day. What I do need to make sure I do is on Sunday night or Sunday afternoon is make sure I've got all the equipment I need, because I can't get into the container till 7:30, so I want to be on site to start at 7:30.